Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you a paper painting mixed media canvas collage that I started on the Art Joy of Sharing live stream show on Thursday, last Thursday, whatever, if it was the 20th or something, 21st. And we were talking about using gel prints. The week before we had gel printed on the show, and then this time we were using the gel prints. But then I ended up finishing this paper painting later because it was too much to do in an hour and a half, obviously. I always take, more. I always bite off more than I can chew on the show. I have a hard time finishing my projects. So I wanted to do this paper painting because it's been wintry here, and actually today when I'm doing this voiceover, which is the 22nd of February, it is snowing like crazy. I live in Tucson, Arizona. It's the desert. That stuff just doesn't happen here very often, like at the most once a year, and it's usually just a little skiff of snow. This is like big flakes, and it's accumulate. It's crazy. So anyway, I was talking about crocus flowers and how when I was growing up, they were the first ones that came up, and they would sometimes even come up through the snow. And then after that, you'd see your daffodils and your tulips and your irises. These are all plants that grow from bulbs, but the were always the first. And it's cold and gray outside of my studio, and I just wanted to make flowers. So I had these gel prints that we made on the show previously, and I had some purple ones, I had some green ones, I had the right kind of colors. So I'm using a 7 by 14 inch canvas, and I'm just tearing the papers and making a background, kind of going with a sort of an ombre effect, dark at the bottom to light at the top, and also going from kind of a warmer color to a cooler color. So the brown and orange papers have a little bit of greeny teal in them as well, but they're pretty warm looking. And then by the time you get to the top, it's definitely mostly teal and white and a little bit of green, and they're cooler colors. It's pretty colors that I was using when I was gel printing it. I will, of course, link the episode where I worked on this in real time if you'd like to watch that instead of the sped up version. And also I will link the episode before where we gel printed, and I'll just I'll link the speed up version. And then you can always go over to Art Joy of Sharing live stream channel. That's my other channel, and watch those longer shows if you enjoy watching it in real time. This channel has speed up voiceovers. That's all I do on this channel. On the other channel, there's the longer versions in real time. So that's, up to you. We're trying to, here on YouTube, we try to reach all the people who want all the things. And the way that I decided to solve that was to have two different channels that do two different things, so that my channel is recognizable as what it is. So I'm finally getting up to the top here. This part actually was quicker than I thought. I thought this part would take a little bit longer. Excuse me. It ended up being the flowers, the focal point, that took longer. So for this background, I've torn all the paper. And when I go to do my foreground, I'm going to be cutting all the paper. And that's probably why it took longer. Cutting with some sharp, small scissors. I need to make stems, I need to make leaves, I need to make flowers with petals, and those things are easier to cut than to pair. They look more clear and concise when they're cut. So I'm using some different papers again with the kind of teal green color. That's phthalo green is what that color is. Someone asked me about the paint the other day that I used that color of paint. It's pretty. It's very pretty. And I'm just cutting thin strips, not making them perfectly straight. As I'm cutting, I'm going, just angling over a little bit just to make them not stick straight. They wouldn't be stick straight. So, that's something that someone might not think about, and they might just make their flowers bam, 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 stick straight, same distance between the stems. And for a whimsical look, that's fine. But if you want them to look, I mean, obviously these are not realistic, but if you wanted them to look a little bit more, the composition to look a little bit more like it would in nature, making them a bit curved, curved one way, curved another way, that type of stuff is just little stuff that you can do. Then I have some lavender, I have some dark purple, I have some kind of bluish purple bits. When I use gel prints, I almost never use the entire print. I have before. I'm not saying it doesn't happen at all, but I generally have these multi-layer, multicolor mixed prints, and I find a section in that print that I think is really awesome, and I use that portion, and it's dependent upon what I'm doing with it. You can do so many things with this type of a collage paper, and I didn't paint. I didn't do anything extra to these papers. Sometimes I will take a piece of paper and I'll put more mark making over the top, or I'll add some stenciling, or I'll add some stamping, or I'll add some other type of mark making with some other tool to make the paper a little bit more multi-dimensional. But in these cases, the way that I particularly gel print, these are pretty multi-dimensional already, and I didn't need to adjust them. Plus, I just wanted to show what you do when you have a stack of gel prints. There's so many things you can do with them, and people get a little bit weird about it. They're like, "Oh, I need to stop gel printing because I just have all these prints and I don't know what to do with them." Use them, people. They're awesome. They are awesome. They're just the best thing ever for a collage artist anyway, or a mixed media artist, or someone who art journals. They're awesome. You can make them into card backs. They make really great card backs. So the show was winding down at this point, the live stream, and so I decided I better start doing a little bit of shading and highlighting, just to make the show complete. And I knew that I would not be at this point finishing the entire project on the live stream. I spent another couple hours on it after the live stream was over, but I'm using my Neocolor 2 water soluble crayons, and I'm using brown and green and dark purple to add some shading around the stems, around the flowers, and then I'm using my white Posca acrylic paint pen to add some highlights on the edges of the petals and things. And I'm blending all that with a water tank brush. You can blend the acrylic marker if you do it right away with the brush, and you can obviously blend these water-soluble crayons until the end of time. When this whole project was done, I took it outside and I gave it a couple coats of matte spray sealer so that all that water-soluble product is sealed in and it will not, nothing will happen to it. It's all sealed in. And I've actually already sold this project to someone. So I was talking to her on text, and I said, "This is what I'm doing today." She's like, "I want to buy that." Like, it's not even finished. I want to buy that. So that's what happened. That sometimes happens. I guess she needed to see some spring crocuses coming up too, because the area she lives in is very snowy right now. So I'm just about finished with the live stream portion of this, and then we'll go into the other part. Basically, that's all I'm doing. This is when it ends. That's what it looks like when it ended. And then I'm moving into making more flowers. So I still have the same stems on there. I didn't add any more stems, but I needed to add some more flowers, and I wanted it to be an odd number. Ends up being 9. But when I'm working in my studio alone with my music on and I'm not trying to talk on a live stream show, I can focus a lot better. I can really think about composition a lot better. I can do it on the live stream because I just intuitively do it, but I can think a lot better when I'm not on the live stream. So I was thinking about some of the flowers when they're open. I was thinking about it when they're more closed. If I'd really been super focused, When I started the flowers, I might have made them taller and more thin because they're kind of too short or something. They don't look exactly like crocuses. Now that I recall them, they of course don't grow in Arizona, so I haven't seen them in a while. But now that I think about it, they're more cupped and more. The petals might be longer and curved in more. But hey, it's art. It is what it is. It's pretty, and it doesn't matter if the flowers aren't exactly the shape that I would have made them had I been able to think a little bit better. So I'm cutting more petals out of the same papers. I've got some kind of lavender, some purple, some bluish colored ones, some very light pink ones, and I'm just doing that with scissors and then placing them down where I'm going to end up needing them to be, and making sure that everything is balanced, that I have flow, that your eye kind of follows the canvas up. Yeah, I I'm doing all that stuff in my head while not talking. I'm still using Liquitex matte gel medium to glue all this down. This is my favorite adhesive for collage and paper painting. It's a thicker gel formula instead of a fluid, so I feel like I get adhesion quicker than if I was using like a liquid matte medium. This is just the one that I prefer. There's certainly lots of brands out there. This is a professional product, so it's not going to yellow or anything like that. Some things out there, some products out there will, like Mod Podge will eventually yellow over time. You might have found that out if you ever did, where you put it on the puzzle and the puzzle stays together forever. And then, like, you have one of those that your grandma did and it's 20 years later and it's yellowed. That's how come I know that Mod Podge yellows over time. So I'm still sticking everything down. I've got my Distress Collage brush. At some points I turn it upside down so that I can reach the top better. This is a long canvas, long and narrow, a very different shape. I actually enjoy it and I'm going to order some more of these, but I might try to get them in wood cradle panel instead of canvas, because one thing about the canvases when you are doing a lot of collage on them is that it has give. In the middle of the canvas, it presses down a little bit. It's not terrible, but I just think that a solid wood cradled panel might be a little bit better for this process. So that's my intention, but I still have lots of canvases that I need to use up before I start going and buying wood. So then I decided to add a few more leafy type stems, and I'm trying to figure out where to place them. How high up would they go? Can I, just messing around. Added a few more to kind of fill it up a little bit, and pretty happy with that. Then I'm back to the shading and the highlighting. So I've got a dark brown crayon. I have an olive green crayon. I have, when I get up to the flowers, I use like a dark purple, almost a dioxazine purple, very dark royal purple, to do some of the shading. And I'm blending as I'm going with the water tank brush. This is a fun process. I could just really do this all day long. And I guess if I was not making videos and I was, I don't know, one of those people who sells their art, maybe that's what I would be doing all day long. I don't know. This probably would be my choice, but that's not who I am. I'm here to share my art with you and encourage you to do art yourself. And if this process encourages you to maybe take up some collage work or some paper painting, then that means I've done my job. And so that's why I do it. Yeah, I think I've gotten to the green now. I'm just watching this and talking. So, I guess I brought the green down a little bit. I just kept going, and this is how you do it. I think that any collage, whether it's a magazine collage or whether it's some type of an abstract collage, or you know, something impressionistic, whatever. I really think that adding some sort of shadows around your cut pieces finishes the project, makes it look intentional. It makes it look like those pieces are part of the composition instead of just something stuck on there. So no matter what type of gluing of paper to paper you're doing, I hope that you are doing this type of a process to it before you call it finished, because I think it really makes a huge difference. There's the dark purple. It almost looks blue, but then when I blend it, it's purple. At first I thought that was a blue crayon. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment or a question below. I'll be sure to answer you usually within 24 hours. And of course, I make a video every other day, sometimes every third day. So there's lots going on my channel. And so you might want to click that notification bell so that it tells you when there's a new fresh video that it's been uploaded, because otherwise you might miss some. And if you have already clicked the notification bell, you might want to look and see if it's still working, because a lot of people have been telling me that some sort of an update turned off their notifications and they were mad about it. So if that happened to you, sorry. YouTube does weird stuff all the time. They update things. We have no idea. Also, of course, you can share this, pin it on Pinterest, or share it on your Facebook, or if you know someone who's buried in snow right now and might want to see some crocus flowers, then you can share it with them, certainly. What else do I have to say? Oh, we're just about done. I think I'm getting out my white now. Yep, here goes the white Posca pen. So I just add a little bit of white Posca pen. I blend it a little bit with that same water brush, which I've cleaned off onto my rag. And then, you know, I just do it not methodically, but just here and there where I think there should be a highlight, mostly on the left-hand side. I figure the light might be coming from that side. I didn't think too much about it when I did the composition. Where's the light coming from? I don't know. Maybe it's straight on top, because the ombre background kind of makes it look like it might be straight on top. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. When you're doing a live show, it's hard to think about those things. So I will finish this up. I made sure that the sides were all completely covered with the same papers so that it can just be hung right on the wall, and took it outside, sprayed it with matte spray varnish, and yeah, that's it. So here comes your close-ups. Thanks. Bye-bye.